But how about this, Scott? Hire me to sell your car and house, and I will guarantee you two things. Number one, the sale will be in less than 24 hours. The second thing I guarantee, your absolute rage as I sold them both for $10.
Sold a car for $10? The Idea Tank Podcast. $1 million ideas coming at you now. You're in the Idea Tank, where we change the world one idea at a time. Thanks for listening today.
We got a great show for you today. But first, I got to know, Scott, how are you going to change the world?
I'm going to make car maintenance and repair at home easier.
Great.
So, Eric, how are you going to make the world better today?
Any live event, Scott, it's going to be better for you, the consumer, and the event promoter.
Interesting. I'm excited to hear.
Excellent, because that's what we're doing here. It's a show. Scott, I'm glad you're excited.
Yeah. that we're in that business, right?
Yeah.
So what's going on in your life?
Okay, so last time we spoke, and I'm talking about you, me, and the listeners who are somewhere underneath 10 million, or somewhere under there.
Somewhere.
And above 1.
1.
When we last left off, I was doing coding training. I could not pronounce Udacity, and so I finished the Udacity course. I've learned Python, I've learned JavaScript, and I've learned how to say that name. And now I've moved on to something called Free Code Camp, which is JavaScript, the language of the future of the web, maybe. I'm not sure. I'm just starting.
Not the coffee.
No.
So
not Java either. Different JavaScript.
Like Java the Hutt?
None of them are like Java the Hutt. Did you say Java the Hutt?
Is it Java or Java?
It's Java.
With a B?
With a B, yes.
Okay.
Scott, shamelessly, you have no nerd card. That's fine.
I have lost it. I'll blame it on growing up in South Dakota, where we didn't have movies.
Did you have Star Wars?
Kind of.
Did it premiere in 1996?
So get this. Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
It came out when I was in high school.
Okay.
And I didn't know about it until I was 21 and I moved to Texas. And my mom was a librarian.
Is that real?
Yeah, that's 100% real.
Wow.
So, yeah, South Dakota was kind of sheltered. Not sheltered. It was just life as we knew it. It wasn't that we were sheltered from anything. It was just isolated.
Where was your movie theater?
We had it was called the Mill Twin Theaters. We had
Twin.
Yeah, it was Mill. Yeah, it was Mill Twin Theaters, but there was actually 3 movie theaters in it. Don't ask me.
Did First Run Movies come to this twin triple theater?
No.
They were all second rate.
Yeah.
So if you wanted a First Run movie, where'd you go?
We had to drive probably an hour out of town.
Okay.
At least to Watertown. If not, 2 hours would take us to Sioux Falls.
Scott, guess what?
What?
My idea will make that theater at home much, much better.
Wonderful.
Great. And Scott, how are things in Scotland?
There you go, using that word again.
Mm-hmm.
No, things are going well. We've been talking about Clear Lake house buyers.
Yeah.
And I have a direct marketing campaign that I'm almost ready to launch. I ran into a snafu.
What is that?
And before I talk about what actually happened in the direct mail, I'm going to define a couple words to make it simpler. So one of them is equity, like a percentage equity in a house, and that's basically how much cash I have invested into a house. So say I had 100% equity, I would own that house outright.
Right.
And so the equity can change over time, especially as you're paying off a house. The second term is loan to value, and it's always a percentage that really defines how much of the original loan was for.
Okay.
So if I have a 70% LTV, that means I have a 70% loan to value. So if I have a $100,000 house, I have a $70,000 loan.
Right.
And then $30,000 equity in the house.
And just to recap, you are sending postcards to people who may want to sell their house to you.
Exactly.
Who value their
time,
More than their?
money.
Okay.
Yep, exactly.
And these are parameters within that mailing campaign. You can adjust who you're going to mail to.
And so the company I went to, I told them I wanted to mail to people over 55 years old with 70% or greater equity in their house, because we want to extract their cash. So we want them to have equity into their house. And so the company that I work with called them up, and I told them that I wanted that equity list, and they told me, well, we can't do that. We can do loan to value though. They insisted that equity, the percentage, and loan to value was the same. And I said, no, it's not. And went back and forth on that for a while. And I kept going up to the chain of people there, and ended up talking to one of their vice presidents who says I'm correct in it. And I was originally sold that on the idea that they can, one of their salesmen said they can do equity. Turns out that they can't. So they were unable to build that list. And then I thought, well, there's other companies that can build lists. And so I started calling around to other companies and talking with them to see if they can give me an actual equity percent list. And nobody could. It was all basically the equivalent of what a loan to value was.
I got a question.
Yeah.
On the loan to value list,
Mm-hmm.
would there be an absence of a value that means they have no loan, or a 100% loan to value?
Yep. There is 100% loan to value.
Okay. Does that mean 100% of the loan is out? Like they owe $100,000 on a $100,000 house?
So no, 100% LTV, loan to value, would mean that they've financed everything.
Okay. And yes, West Coast people, we did say a $100,000 house.
Welcome to Texas.
Mm-hmm. So what about a zero? Is there a zero value on the list?
There's a zero value as well. But the thing I was looking for was 70% to, 70% or greater in equity. So which would translate to 30% loan to value at least.
Okay.
But the thing with that is it gives you very small numbers, and it's at the time of their loan. So loan to values at a specific point in time, like when they actually took the loan. So I could have taken a loan in 1995 for 30% of my house, and that would I could have paid it off by now.
Oh, and like the numbers were relative to those prices back in 95?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it doesn't really give you like what's currently going on.
Right.
It's just at the time of the loan. And as I started calling around to these people, these other companies, I didn't ever get a clear answer, and they all directed me to do a loan to value list. And it's funny because as we were, like Eric and I have been to several real estate workshops and events, and one of the big things that they hit on is marketing to people with and getting a mailing list together that's based on equity.
Equity, it's a big thing.
So it's kind of a plea for if there's anybody out there listening, if you know where to get an equity list, let me know, because as I was looking around and talking with these people, I think I was directed to something else. And so if you know where you can get an actual equity list, I would love to know.
Okay, I'll be a listener. Oh, how do I get in touch with these guys?
Twitter us at
Idea Tank
Podcast.
No the?
What?
No the, right?
No the.
Idea Tank Podcast.
Yep. Idea Tank Podcast.
And if you haven't checked us out, check us out for the logo alone. It's pretty fantastic.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think we need to get some shirts made.
What type of shirts?
Merino wool.
Oh, yeah. We should definitely do that. Those are the best shirts.
And some embroidered shirts.
Oh, no, I was giving you a plug for the funniest merch idea you've had.
Wait, what was that?
The Idea Tank.
Oh, the Idea...
Tanks for summer.
Yeah, the Idea Tank.
Sun's out, guns out, ideas out, tanks out.
Sun's high. Was it sun's high, thighs high?
Gosh. Great thing in Texas. This is a complete side note. But if you ever get to go to Junction, Texas, it's really hot, but they're spring-fed rivers. This is something people do in Texas. Tubing. Underrated.
Oh, Junction has it too? Junction has tubing?
It has a spring-fed river, which we got in with tubes and kayaks, and it was more fun than I thought it was going to be because I don't like the heat, but I like getting in 60-degree or 65-degree water. Bring them too. You know what you get? You
What?
get sunburn all over the legs.
Yes.
That's what made me think of it.
Yes. Well, are you thinking we should dive in the tank?
I'm ready.
All right. Let's dive in. OutsourceMyFunding.com, where you can get a small business loan without having to deal with the bank. Visit OutsourceMyFunding.com for the Priceline of business loans. So, Eric, what's your idea?
Let me first start with the problem. There are empty seats at live venues. Have you ever been to a live venue? And I'm talking stadium, arena, and movie theater where there's empty seats.
Yes, many times.
That is a loss of revenue. It's also could be a loss of the experience. And I'm thinking less movies and more live events. If you're at a baseball game and it's not packed, that's disappointing.
Absolutely.
You get that feeling of like, well, why am I here? It's like the opposite of the fear of missing out. It's like the fear of being here when nobody else is.
Yeah.
So those are two problems. And I'm going to solve that problem in a couple ways. One, again, every empty seat is loss. It's loss of revenue, not only for the tickets, but a loss of revenue on the extras like food, merchandise, like Idea tanks. Less people there, the less people that can sport a tank. Look, 2 people at a ticket price of $5 a ticket should bring in more net revenue with food and those extras than one person who buys a $10 ticket, but there's an empty seat there. Plus, again, like I said, a packed house is just a better experience. More people that are there, the more people that enjoy it, that leads to the best marketing ROI that there is, and that's word of mouth and repeat business. So there's part 2 to this problem. Not only are there empty seats, but when there are sold out venues, have you ever heard people talk about, hey, this event just sold out in a record 16 seconds?
Yeah, I want to go there even more.
You do, but that's good for us, the consumer. But how about this, Scott? Hire me to sell your car and house, and I will guarantee you 2 things. Number 1, the sale will be in less than 24 hours. The second thing I guarantee, your absolute rage as I sold them both for $10.
Sold a car for $10?
Yeah, but in 24 hours, it's a record.
Yeah?
16 seconds, Scott. I sold it everything.
Okay. I'd be mad.
So I don't get it why we have promoters out there who do an event and they sell out in 16 seconds and they celebrate. They should be really mourning because they undersold that,
I see what
that
you're saying.
venue.
Yeah. Yeah. They should have jacked up the prices.
Are you ready for the solution?
Go for it.
The solution is sell out. Name pending could probably have a better name, but that's the name right now. It's a website/app that auctions off each ticket to the event, both guaranteeing a sellout of the venue or a near sellout and the right price for each ticket. So the consumer gets a good sellout experience at the right price. The promoter gets every dollar that he or she could have gotten for that event. Everybody wins. So why, maybe that's $1 for a movie on a Wednesday afternoon. Or it could be even like $100,000 for a football game, maybe late in the season, that nobody thought was going to be good. But it turns out, yeah, we all got to be there. Before, those profits were lost or they're getting resold through different venues like StubHub or just a scalper out there. And you really couldn't do anything about it. We used to live in an economy where you had to make big decisions and take risks. Like the NBA, in a way, its ticket is sold to the networks 6 years in advance. Like the Olympics, in 2 years and in 4 years, that's already been sold. Like NBC paid for the rights. Well, who knows if it's going to do well? Well, somebody could lose out quite a bit if they overpaid or they underpaid, depending on how many people actually are going to watch it and all the revenue. We have this way of doing business. Then, now think about eBay with auctions. There's such a truer marketplace going on, but you don't want the chaos of that. So this website is basically that auction site. You go onto the site, the people set their wishes, your desired event, the max price you're willing to pay, the number of people in the party, kind of where you want to sit. And then based upon everybody's wishes, we'll see who sits where. And it's in a continuous feedback loop. So let's say on Monday, you say, I want to go see this movie on Friday night. Maybe Guardians of the Galaxy just came out last weekend. You're like, oh, okay, I want to see that Friday night. Let's do it. I got 4 people we want to go, and we're willing to pay $15. Sure, a person, because it's Friday night, and you're not in Texas where we don't pay that much for a movie, but other places pay a lot for movies. So you say, hey, I'll pay up to $15. Well, then it's Tuesday night, and you get a text message, and it says, hey, that movie you said you pay $15 for, nobody's coming tonight. So can you be here at 6? If so, it's only $10. It's only $5. Maybe it's only $1 for a first-run movie, but that's, again, better for the theater. If you come, you might buy some popcorn, especially if you only paid $1. This is now possible with the technology.
Could it be applied to airlines in like Megabus, Greyhound?
I think it is being applied in other areas. Like in a plane ticket, for plane tickets, nobody pays the same amount, or very few people pay the same amount.
I've always wanted to ask the guys sitting next to me in a plane, like, how much do you pay for this ticket? I've never done that before. It'd just be an interesting personal study to do.
It makes sense, though, right? Which day do you buy tickets on?
Like day of the week?
Correct.
I do not know.
Oh, hold on. We're pausing in the podcast. The studio chef has brought us cookies.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Studio 4, always a great place.
Wonderful. Best studio around.
Pause for a cookie break?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is an excellent idea. I'm just trying to envision it a little bit more. So app on a phone, a website, or a website that I can go to,
right.
And does it have like different price breaks for different categories of seats for like, just say, going to a concert? And then auctioning off the bulk tickets for that price? Because I'm thinking like usually when you auction off something, you're only auctioning off one thing.
Right. There's a level of complexity to this that hopefully somebody's holding their hair, pulling their hair out of their head right now, thinking, you guys, this is the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
And that's true. It is more of a conceptual idea than it is a specific idea, because it would depend. You could have an auction where you could say, hey, you want to sit front row? This is what the auction is going for right now. And when you put in your price, though, unlike auctioning off one event, you could say, okay, I will pay $60 to sit in the front row, but I'm not going to pay more than $60, but I want to go to the event, so I'm willing to sit anywhere in this venue as long as it's not $60 for the front, below $60 for this, and then you could even set a different price bracket for different sections, because like a concert is one product, and at the same time it's 20,000 products.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of I'm trying to understand more of your idea, and I think you hit the nail on the head by saying devil's in the detail with this idea.
I'll throw another parallel at you. You remember your local South Dakota theater?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of selling a concert at a specific date, and then you're worried about, am I going to optimize my ticket price for this event? Those small theaters might not even have an event. Like they might say, people really want to see classic movies. I'm gonna put Gone with the Wind up on what's it called, where you where you that
Projector?
not the projector where they advertise the movie. It kind of sticks out at an angle on the city street so you can see it from both sides.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, but that thing, the triangle, is that what they call it?
Sure.
Yeah.
We call it the triangle here at the Idea Tank podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So on the triangle, you might put Gone with the Wind at 6 p.m., 8 p.m., and 10 p.m. Because I like that movie. No, I'm sorry, not Gone with the Wind. Casablanca. I like that movie a lot.
But
But
Gone with the Wind is so boring.
it is. It is. I think it's because you're supposed to fall for that girl,
Mm-hmm.
but there's nothing about her that's desirable.
Mm-hmm.
She's like a pain from the get-go.
It's the proverb about it's better to, or it's
Be alone than be with that woman.
no. I was thinking about the one that makes you want to being married to a cantankerous woman makes like a guy want to go sleep on the roof of his house.
Yes. Yeah. And spoiler, I guess at the end he doesn't sleep on his roof, but he leaves.
Close enough.
Close enough. Yeah. Anyway, so Casablanca, or maybe it's Gone with the Wind. That we'll use that example because other people like it, but we don't. So we're like, we're not going to go to that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, how do we communicate that to the theater?
Mm-hmm.
We do it right now when it's too late, when they have an empty theater or they only sell one ticket.
Mm-hmm.
But with this event, you could say, hey, classic movie night at the South Dakota event. Go to our website and tell us who you want to see. And instead of that voting like on Facebook, like who cares about your opinion, this is put your money down. You could say, I'll pay.
You actually buy a ticket right then and there?
Just like Priceline?
Yep.
Once you set your parameters and commit, you're committing financially because your app that bid could either become no dollars and no service, or you said you wanted to come at 8 o'clock and watch Casablanca or Gone with the Wind or the 10 Commandments. So now we've collected all the data and now here's the lineup. You're committed. And you also said you were going to buy a hot dog. So we got the hot dog ready for you. There's all sorts of things that you could package in there. But the biggest change is for events that fail. You can get that feedback ahead of time. And especially if the event was going to fail because you offered product A and you could have offered product B, C, and D just as easily, like the different movies, but you just didn't have the feedback in time.
So this is like this feedback loop that we're talking about right here.
Yeah.
This is also part of your idea, or is this kind of a spin-off or branch of it?
It's kind of like an auction system with a feedback loop with multiple dimensions that are special to events that auctions that don't just auction off one product, but a great variety of products.
Mm-hmm.
Like each seat is a product, each time slot is a product.
Mm-hmm.
And you can manage all this so that every Friday night, Saturday night for a local theater is a success.
Mm-hmm.
Every concert is sold out and maximized. Every arena football game, which was not successful, can be sold out.
Yep. So how do you plan on making money with this idea? How could it be profitable?
For me,
I think there's definitely value in the idea to the consumer using the product.
Oh yeah.
But for the person operating this,
The promoter?
yeah.
The promoter gets...
Well, the promoter, like the concert hall, but also you, the creator of this app.
Oh, the app creator?
Or the website.
Okay, so the app creator probably would work on some sort of a service fee. And I'm just saying that because, one, I don't know because I'm not going to do it. This is way too hard. Two, I think it's the way Ticketmaster worked. It's the way StubHub works. It's the way Fandango works. And it seems to be a good model.
It's like a 2% or something service fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has a lot of service to get your ticket. Have you ever gone to a stadium to buy a ticket ahead of time? Like back in the 90s or early 2000s?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What my mind flashes to is it's not necessarily buying tickets because we've already bought them, but A&M football games where you camp out to get your tickets.
And if you didn't catch that, I groaned audibly. Yeah, what a mess that was.
Yeah, it was. I will say I kind of liked it because I was out there with a group of people camping out, and I enjoy doing that. It's like a couple weeks ago, I camped out at Chick-fil-A, for
Right.
free Chick-fil-A for a year. Or
Uh-huh.
it's Chick-fil-A first 100. It was fantastic. Like, honestly, no kidding, for real. Like, lifelong friends came out of there.
Those can be great.
So,
Uh,
so why did you groan?
I groan because waiting in line for tickets is one of those things in life where I'm told I like that. You know, like someone says, "Oh no, yeah, it's kind of a pain, but it's great." And then you go and you think, "I agree with the first half of what this guy said," and that's
But
it.
not to say.
No,
But it's
no,
not great.
no. I mean, at first you're kind of part of something, which is cool, I guess. But I don't want to be part of the thing that I'm buying the ticket for. I want, and segueing back into the idea, that's what I want all of the events to be. Ticket is seamless, and every time I go, it's sold out with people who want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I left off some of the answer to your question in terms of what's in it for the.
Yeah, so it was kind of a two-part question. What's in it for, how does a app maker or the website designer, how do they make money and service fee? Which I think that's a pretty decent route. And so the advantage of people and partners in this, people like Ticketmaster or Cinemark,
Yeah.
movie theaters, the advantage for them is what exactly?
Oh, well, okay, so I've been to, this past year, 2 movies where I was the only person in the entire theater. In one of them, I was staying with some friends when I first moved to Oregon, and I was sick, like physically, like not physically, but I was contagiously sick, with the type of sickness that leaks fluid from your nose.
A cold.
I could have just said a cold, yes.
So
So
a little bit too detailed.
I didn't want to go
Okay.
and hang out with them. I wanted to spend as much time out of the house because I didn't want to spread my disease. So I went to a movie 2 nights in a row, and I was the only one there. And since I was sick, I was drinking a lot to keep hydrated, and I had to go to the bathroom during the middle of the movie. And I thought, hey, can they pause it? But there was nobody to talk to because I was the only one there. So I just went, left, and then came back.
That would have been awesome if they would have paused it.
I was just thinking, man, if they could have 10 more people here, I'm sure at the same price, like a tenth of the price that I paid, maybe paid $10. If we each would have paid $1, I'm betting at least one of us would have bought a drink or bought popcorn or told a friend to multiply. So I mean, for the theater, it's filling up the theater. It's making it a lively place, all with the idea that they're really making crazy money off the food.
Mm-hmm.
And right now they're not. And then for the smaller theaters, it's survival. And then for the bigger, I think without it, a lot of these theaters don't have a viable economic model. And then for the bigger venues, I mean, you could be talking about millions of dollars left on the table if you sell out your facility in 16 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say billion because I don't know venues that well, but for sure I know millions of dollars are collected for one event.
Yes. So I'm thinking through deconstruction now of the idea. I think I understand it. And I don't really have any deconstruction. I think the biggest thing is, and we already touched on it, is it's very complicated to integrate and come up with all the details for this thing.
Right.
Because again, we're not bidding on one. A seat located right up front should not generate the same amount of revenue or sell for the same amount of money on the in the back of the theater.
Correct.
And so, I'm sure if anybody's listening to this, if you know how to implement something this, or if know why this idea won't work, please tweet us or Instagram us at Idea Tank Podcast. No the in it, just the idea, just Idea Tank Podcast.
Right.
But yeah, no huge deconstruction. It's devil's in the detail.
Right.
Yeah, I think somebody's got to do it.
Our sponsor this week is outsourcemyfunding.com, your one-stop shop for all of your secondary business loan ideas. Look, if the bank has said no and you've got 2 years of experience, maybe you don't qualify for the bank loan, or maybe you just don't want to deal with their hassle. Traditionally, your next step is to go to a loan broker who will connect you to all of the different lending options out there. A good loan broker will connect you with lending options, but they're going to do it for 3 to 5, even up to 18%. It's 2017, so if you want to do this online and save a lot of money, just like you would with priceline.com, check out outsourcemyfunding.com. You're going to be connected with over 20 lenders with one online questionnaire. Then you will see which of those lenders will meet your business needs and only apply to those specific lenders. For your small business lending needs, check them out, outsourcemyfunding.com. Now, Scott, are you ready to jump in the idea tank?
No.
You got a cookie in your mouth.
Cookie.
I'm gonna take another cookie break here too. Okay, Scott, what do you got?
And so, what do you do when your car breaks down and you don't know what's wrong?
I'm concerned that I'm going to get ripped off because there is no review system like the one that you described in an earlier podcast.
Yeah.
So I don't know who to go to.
You
to
just
help.
take it to a shop and maybe pull up Angie's List, and it's like, oh, this one seems like a good one. Okay, I'm going to Joe's Body Shop.
Right.
Joe's Car Repair. And then you get a price tag.
Right.
Which is, to me, I've never taken a car to a shop and said, oh, this is good. Let's do this. It's always like, man, this is like $250, $500, $1,000, even $2,000. Like, they're pretty expensive.
And if I ever did have that feeling, it's because I had false high expectations. It's like, oh, I thought this was gonna be $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, well, that's because you're ignorant. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I feel like I just saved $800.
Yeah, there you go. For Anna's, she drives a Corolla. I took it into the mechanic, and they came out and they said it was going to be about $500 to fix it. And I was just thinking, and wanted to call Anna and just ask her what she thought about it. And I took a little while of thinking about it. Took a few minutes to think about it, and during those few minutes, I decided to pull up YouTube and watch how to replace an alternator and how they did it for a similar model of Corolla that we have, and it was pretty much the same video. And so a week later, I did the same thing for the 4Runner. It wasn't the exact same video, but it was close enough where I could change the alternator reasonably. Through watching the video, I could change it myself, and so I did change both the alternators myself. Each one took about an hour to replace, so it wasn't too bad, and it was about $150 for parts.
Nice.
Which, yeah, not bad. So
how long are those videos?
10 minutes.
Wow.
Each one. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so they've edited them a little bit and took out the nonsense of ratcheting down things and tightening things and loosening things. So they sped them up. And so my idea, as I was working on these vehicles, was, and especially looking for the videos of the correct make and correct model of 4Runner or Corolla I was working on, was my idea is basically you take a website and make it dedicated to this type of home car maintenance and repair. And so it's not just random YouTube videos that you end up piecing together to figure out how to do something. It's dedicated to your car's make and model. So you go to this website or app on your phone, you enter in your make and model for the vehicle, and it breaks all the videos down to you and gives you high quality videos describing the whole process for each repair that you want to do. It's user-generated content, and not only that, but like the videos are not only listed in just a big long list. you have a car that's kind of an exploded view, and that you can you click on the like the engine, and it has these videos listed up for like, hey, I want to replace the alternator on this car, so you can click on an alternator or click on a brake pad or
Yeah.
something simple.
I feel like I've seen
Similar.
this for parts
Okay.
because
Yes.
what would be your video content is parts. It can all come from one place, the product.
Yes.
But you're talking about repair videos.
Mm-hmm.
And are you talking about existing ones? So it would be some sort of a aggregate site where it brings in all the existing videos.
Yes.
So I go through you instead of searching on my own because you're the authority on filtering out these videos and getting good ones that I can use.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So this is the authority. So whenever what kind of car do you drive?
Don't judge me, but it's a Toyota Prius, but I don't think I should be able to control your life. Is that clear?
Hey, you're still in the Toyota family.
Yeah,
I'm a big Toyota person.
Let's just go with Toyota.
Okay. So whenever your Toyota Prius
Yes.
breaks down and you need to replace something in it, this is a website that you go to where you can enter in 2015 Toyota Prius,
Mm-hmm.
and you can search by your different parts, search by images, and pick out high quality content.
I like that.
Where it's not just, it's videos that have been separated out and filtered by users through liking videos and rating the videos to have high quality content. So I don't have to spend 20 minutes searching around YouTube for a video to replace an alternator. So I'm thinking this has all types of videos. I mean, even basic things like changing your oil and your filter, changing brake pads, things, even complicated things like your starters or broken window motors.
Yeah.
And so revenue through this site is generated through two different ways. One, advertisement of the videos, and then affiliate marketing, so that when you go there and you need parts for the vehicle that you're fixing, you can buy parts from various suppliers.
Yeah, this is great. This is it's one of the rare videos where it's so doable. Like my idea, that's a lot of layers. That's a company.
Absolutely.
Drudge Report sounds very similar to what it is. These aggregate sites that we're going to organize this vast amount of information. You're going to come through us because that's valuable to you. And on the way, we're going to try to bring as valuable as possible advertisers to your eyes, and then we all win.
Yep, absolutely. So it's simple. It's another simple, straightforward idea.
Yeah, it is. It is, but I like it. I would make a suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
I would omit Priuses because we're not doing work on our own cars.
Yeah, you're probably right. People with older cars, I think, are more apt to work on their cars, and especially they're a lot easier to work on. I don't know if you've ever worked on even a mid '90s. The first car I drove was a '82 Buick LeSabre,
Woo.
and that car, you look at that car versus cars today, and there's no room for working in cars today. You have to. My dad changes oil in his. It's probably about a 2012 Honda, and he has to take the front tire off to change the oil in it.
Wow. It's weird because it's not like you have these robots doing it at the oil change place. They're still human. So why wouldn't you leave room?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the other thing is they have I forget what they call them, but they usually have a ditch. So when you drive in for an oil change, you can physically stand under the car.
So would your dad still have to take off the wheel if he could get under the car?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Potentially. And that was the oil. I think I said when he's changing the oil, it's the oil filter that he's getting out.
Okay. which doesn't need to be changed as often. So
I think it
told.
depends who you talk to, but generally we always change the oil filter when we change the oil. So yeah, that's my idea. Do you have any deconstructions?
I think your idea represents another movement, similar to how my idea represents a movement. You're making this technology jump, and all this information is out there, valuable information, game-changing information. So there's money to be made in just organizing it and bringing it to people's eyes. That's a real thing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this is. There's all this info, and it's just an organization method.
Perhaps a deconstruction would be, have you thought of, it's more of just like a have you thought of this, have you thought of how to aggregate the information?
No, I haven't. I was hoping somebody in Silicon Valley would think of that and make it
I think
happen.
They can do it.
There's got to be somebody out there.
They got it. They got that.
Yep.
Someone's got to do it.
Well, that's our show for today. Somebody's got to do it.
If you have an idea to share, tweet us. We'll mention you and the idea on the show.
What if one of our listeners has already done one of our ideas?
Tweet us at Idea Tank Podcast.
But what if one of our listeners is in the industry and know why our idea won't work?
Tweet us at Idea Tank Podcast. If these ideas are yours, take them and change the world. Don't say anything wise. I think I'm going to cut that whole part. So, okay.